What?
Subscribe.
Subscribe. We'll highlight all that. Don't you worry.
I'm just
But of
saying,
course,
you gotta remind people. You want to get
Subscribe right now.
subscribe.
subscribe. Of course.
Philadelphia, baby, you're gonna love it. Best sports fans in the world. Actually, the worst, but that's what makes them the best.
Yeah. Also, like, my mother is just yelling upstairs. not the ideal thing she should be doing after experiencing high blood pressure at Citizens Bank Park on Sunday.
Yeah, what happened there? Let's unpack this before we get rolling.
So, obviously, we have Philly season tickets, and
Yeah.
Sunday was one of our games. And we're walking up the third base gate side to go into the stadium, as we always do. And there's a like promotional Xfinity van outside the third base gate. And there's people taking pictures like in front of it. I don't know what's going on, but there's plenty of ample space behind said van to like move through and everything. So we were like, let's be courteous, not get in front of people's pictures and just go around. There was one power strip, another power strip plugged into an extension cord.
That's just unsafe, first of all.
It gets better. The power strips were the same colors as the goddamn concrete. So
Great.
they blend in perfectly, gray and tan. And then the first power strip that's plugged into the second power strip that's plugged into the extension cord was not plugged into a goddamn thing. So what are they there for? CFO Margie catches the lip of the middle power strip.
Oh, no.
Trips, falls, scrapes up her knee, gets some road rash on her shin. The way she falls, she like hip drop tackles. I don't know if you've been anywhere that like has like trees outside of a stadium, but instead of real mulch, they have like that rubberized mulch.
Yeah.
She hip drops onto the rubberized mulch and also scrapes up her wrists in the sequence. It literally looked like the ever so iconic video of the guy dressed up as the Joker getting like thrown into the middle of the crowd.
Yeah.
That's what my mom looked like in slow motion. Big old bruise on her hip, knee gashed up. We go in to Citizens Bank Park. My mom's like, can I just get like first aid services? Like my knee's kind of banged up, hips kind of bruised. They bring the guy over. The first guy, big dumb dipshit. Comes over with a whole medic first aid kit and goes to my and says to my mom, so do you want like a Band-Aid or something? And my mom goes verbatim, I don't know. You're the medical professional. What should I do? And then he bandages up my mom's knee, doesn't put any any type of medicine or cleaning agent on it. Like this is an open wound on her knee. Puts a pad thing over it with blue like athletic tape.
Yeah, like Coban, yeah.
Yeah. And then they're like, yeah, there's a first aid section by so-and-so. So we go over there. But the person who was like the game day assistant, sweetest soul ever. She was phenomenal. The EMT guy at first, big dumb dipshit. So then we go to the first aid room. Most insane level of noise cancellation of a room I've ever been in my life. Like, it's very muffled when you're in there. Somebody opens the door, you remember you're at a baseball game.
That's crazy.
So we go in there. She gets like a Tylenol, ibuprofen type situation. But they're like, let's just take, typical vitals and stuff like that. So they do her blood pressure, and it's true to roof, like astronomically high. Now, she didn't hit her head when she fell. Was totally fine walking outside of the obvious wound and everything. But blood pressure was like crazy high. Blood pressure peaked at 209 on the top number at one point.
Oh my God.
Which is just like insane. But she was asymptomatic of everything else. Like every other test, perfectly fine.
Okay.
Was not deemed like heart attack or stroke, anything. But like blood pressure just was not going down. Now, I was talking to the doctor at Citizens Bank Park. She was phenomenal. I was like, could this just be like trauma induced? Like her body, like literally like crashed and burned in like 3 spots. Like she was like, yeah, it's there's a high possibility of that. And like, I was like, it was almost like the equivalent of a car crash without a car, like the way that she fell and the different points that she fell. So then it started to go down a little bit. They recommended we leave the game. We didn't even get to our seats.
So
we left.
You went home.
We were there for the first like 5 innings in the first aid room. We didn't do anything. We watched Mick Abel's debut from the first aid room.
That's crazy.
So we'll always remember Mick Abel's debut. And then she comes home. It was still high, lower than it was, still high though. She goes to the doctor today and it was getting lower, but they literally said, you know, you suffered a traumatic experience falling that probably increased it, on top of you were in a space with lots of people around you, constantly checking your blood pressure. It wasn't going down, so that probably added to you freaking out and that elevating your blood pressure. So it was literally just a freak incident that led to her having like astronomical high blood pressure. And it was just the most insane shit ever. And I'm just like, what the hell is going? And here's the kicker. Ready? You're a nice little Irishman, so you believe in this type of shit too. This all happened as we're walking up to the stadium. Before we get there, this all happened after my mom found a heads-up penny on the ground.
Well, on
and she goes,
heads up penny's supposed to be good for you, though.
Right? She said, "Oh, this is good luck. Thanks for looking out, Dad." And then all of that happens. Mind you, the day prior, my car stalled out and the check engine light came on, so I've been without vehicle for 2 days.
Typical.
I was like, what would a preseason PLL year be without me having car issues? But I was like, that's it. That it comes in threes. My car stalled out, check engine light on. Jose Alvarado got suspended for a weight loss supplement, and then you have fucking high blood pressure because you went and fell and went boom. All I'm saying is Xfinity should be paying our cable bill for at least a year.
You know, actually, it's funny, right? So you want to talk like traumatic experiences in a situation. Kay, did we ever hear back from the people at the Residence Inn? I think it was points. All right, so the elevator that I got stuck in on my wedding day. Apparently, all they gave us was points, which is like enough for like one extra stay. I'm like, motherfucker, I almost missed my wedding. I should get a week's worth of stays wherever the hell I want to go. If I want to go to Jamaica and stay at your Marriott, I better get freaking points.
They said you got the most fire wedding day photos. That's enough compensation. You use the elevator as a prop.
Yeah, fuck you guys. Like, y'all don't deserve.
But legit, like, how insane is it that you have multiple power strap? And the one EMT in the first aid room had me cracking up. He was so goddamn funny. He older gentleman, looked like the PA announcer at every Flyers home game. And I told him that I was like, yeah, the one unplugged and I plugged it back in. I didn't know if their van was gonna turn off. He goes, that's a union violation.
It's amazing.
But I'm like, if you don't want people walking behind your van, either paint your goddamn power strips your neon purple that you've rebranded everything Xfinity to, or hey, how about this? Put a cone up.
Yeah,
it's honestly not that hard.
Or like, don't they have like the things that like, you walk over? It's like a little hump.
Literally anything. Like, if you don't want people going that way, either don't park far enough away from the spacing there so that there is a pathway.
Yeah.
Or put a cone up. It's not that hard.
Shouldn't be.
My mom did get a game day ball from the EMTs though.
That's pretty cool.
I was like, you gotta save that and get Mick Abel to sign it.
Wait, like a game day ball that was like used like in the game?
No, like they have like a drawer of baseballs, I assume, for like kids. But it is an officially licensed like Major League Baseball that they would use like in a game.
The coolest thing that they do at ballparks, the Twins do it. For like $40, you can buy like a game used ball, and it comes with a little like sticker, and it's like the play that it was used on. So like a friend of mine went to a game with the Twins, and it was like a 3-2 pitch in the 8th inning by Joe Ryan, and it was a pitch in the dirt, and he walked the guy, and that ball, like the one singular pitch, is all it was used for.
That's
And
so funny.
And you can watch that, so they say track it. That's the coolest shit. And I love that, but I wish they had more of that at ball games.
They always talk about how they legit authenticate everything.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Like when Bryce Harper got his 1000th RBI the other night, like they said they will take the dirt that he ran on to be safe at first base on the single that he got, and they will authenticate that dirt, and that will be Bryce Harper's infield dirt that he ran on for his 1000th RBI.
You know what my favorite story is of getting something like authenticated?
What do we got?
So Evan Longoria, when he was playing with the Giants, has the first hit ever off of Albert Pujols. Albert Pujols made a couple of relief appearances in his time when he was with the Angels, I believe.
Huh.
Or might have been the Dodgers, whatever it was. And Evan Longoria got the first ever hit off of Albert Pujols. And after he got the hit, without realizing that it was the first hit he had ever given up, he yells out to like who was it? Whoever was playing like third base. Because there's a fielding error. And he goes, "Yo!" And he goes, "Can I get the ball?" And he's like, "What?" He's like, "Can I get the ball?" And then he turns to the Giants dugout and just tosses the ball. And everybody on the bench is laughing. The one person who knew exactly what was going on was Brandon Crawford, who goes, "Give me that ball!" And he gets the ball, hands it to like the attendant, and said, "Bring that in the back."
Speaking of that,
the video, like they have the camera from the stands facing out at the thing. You could see Brandon Crawford talking to the people, like, "Bring this ball inside, go."
Speaking of Evan Longoria, have we talked about it on this show? I feel like we've talked about it somewhere.
Probably.
Or it might have been off pod. He's got like the craziest 1-of-1 baseball card that's out there that he has.
Yes, with the
Charizard bat knob.
I think actually that came into light when we were talking about there are guys who are now, and this goes back to like how I hate how like trading cards when we were kids don't have these like cool
it was on the show.
It was this.
Or no, it was the main pod from the hotel room.
Oh my god, the greatest episode of all time.
Which, if you haven't listened to that episode, go check that out. It's so goddamn hilarious.
Honestly, I think the evergreen content from that episode might just be the best in show history.
There will be a clip coming out either Tuesday or Wednesday from that show that is arguably one of the funniest clips I've ever created.
Is it my beer?
Yes.
Oh, great. Perfect.
Kenwood Beer.
Kenwood. I didn't even say it like that.
You had a fat lip of brownie packed in your mouth.
Packing Wawa brownie lips, bro.
Packing cacao lips.
Oh my god, yeah, no. So like, I love how like people have are trying to get like their like full name with all of like the letters in their like jersey patches. How amazing would that have been if like Jared Saltalamacchia was trying to get his?
Oh my gosh! Or what's his name? Who's the kid from the Reds? Encarnacion
Strand.
Like
if he, like it's so easy for like Mick Abel to do. It's just 4 letters, right. But like D. Strange Gordon or Isaiah Kiner Falefa, like Jared Saltalamacchia, like you're like, bro, you're screwed. You're never finding this ever. Like you're absolutely screwed.
Well, follower of the program, hopefully future friend of the program, Dante Nori, Philly's first round draft pick last year. He either just completed or is in the process of completing his rookie card rainbow. Which, if you don't know what the rainbow is, that's getting your whatever the numbered card. So he's got his base card and then whatever the numbered card from that set starts at, which is typically like sometimes it's like out of 499, out of 250, but he's looking for the 1 of 1, I think, or he may have just gotten it, but he's like trying to complete his rookie card rainbow, which I think I love that, is that all athletes now, if you have a trading card, like they're trying to collect their 1 of 1s.
Yeah, like I think that's a great piece of like sports, and again, I say this because I used to be an avid collector of cards. Like now you can actually get the 1 of 1s, and you can get the patches and the dirt and all these cool things. I can't believe that like they didn't capitalize on this when we were kids in like the heyday of trading cards. Because when you and I were growing up, of course, we had Pokemon, we had Yu-Gi-Oh. Like Topps cards for me were huge. I had every box set like every single year. It was insane.
Oh, speaking, because I didn't get to show it to you.
That's gorgeous.
The Ohtani 1 of 1 insert on card auto.
So like, are you gonna sell that ever?
This feels like an heirloom that I just like pass down to generations of future Bennetts.
Generations.
And I love that I love that it's when he's on the Angels and in the card he's pitching.
Yeah. Trying to there's actually a really funny post that somebody put up in relation to like people with really long names. At Quill Hollow this weekend, I believe there was a tea time, and it was Christian Bezadenhout and somebody else. Oh, Michael Torbjornsson and someone, and they're like, we have the 2 longest names in golf. We're gonna have to borrow some letters. And some guy tweeted out Bezadenhout spelled BZDHT. Bezadenhout. Like,
is that the ultimate Gesundheit pairing of all time?
I mean, it's certainly the 2 longest names in golf, and it's funny how the tweet was like the staff bearer who has to like hold the thing with the names is gonna have to borrow some vowels.
It's gonna be like when you're like going by like a McDonald's or something. They're like trying to spell something out, but then they got to use like an M as a W, and they're spelling out like, oh, the McChicken wrap is back, but you can tell that they clearly like lost the W or like had to borrow something else from a different one, and the letters are different. That's 100%
exactly
what happened.
So I have to. I have one story to share. Speaking of also like screwing up names, this kind of like flows in really well. So on Friday, I had the distinct honor of joining my father-in-law. I officially made it big time. I was invited to my father-in-law's company golf outing, and I was probably the youngest guy there. Everybody was. I mean, there were some young lads, but apparently the company had some gamers. One of my teammates won the closest to the pin on one of the holes. He was only 8 feet. Some guy though had longest drive, was not a downhill shot, 355 yards.
What in the anchor arms?
I come to find out that guy is a scratch golfer. Now, we could now the format, and Mr. Castor, if you're listening to this, I want to apologize to you. He is the president of the Golf League, so he organizes the whole thing, and he goes, "Oh, we're going to use a Callaway format." Now I'm like, "What the fuck is a Callaway format? I've been covering golf for forever. What the fuck is this?" Turns out, basically, it's an idea. So it was a 4-man scramble. Every single person hit their tee shot. You had to take each of your teammates 4 drives of them, so you can get 2 guys that had an additional par 3 counted as a drive, and everybody would hit the best shot until you hold out. We ended up finishing 1 under par, which like wasn't that bad. Some guys finished like 7 under, some guys finished 3 under, 4 under, whatever it was. So we were not very like strong in terms of everybody else. We also had a relatively like older group. We had 2 older fellows. Shout out John and Keith, and then Tom and myself. So we're playing. We finished 1 under par. We get to the clubhouse, and there's guys like, "Oh yeah, no, I finished 7 under par." And Tom turns to me and he goes, "Well, watch out for the Callaway format." And I go, "All right, Tom, what is this thing?" And he's like, "Well, basically, so every single hole on the golf course get the handicap from 1 through 18. So let's say the 5th hole is the hardest hole in the course. Maybe it's a par 5. It's a very long par 5. It's the number 1 handicap. Basically, if you birdie or play better on the hardest handicap holes, you're considered a good golfer. If you bogey or play worse, you're considered a bad golfer. So you get a handicap basically designed based on your 18-hole score, and there's like a whole algorithm to it. So the team who might have finished 7 under par might have kind of screwed themselves because they birdied the 1st, 3rd, and 4th hardest holes in the golf course and parred the 2nd. And then there's my team who bogeyed the 1st hardest difficult hole, and then we basically parred out, and I think we had like 3 bogeys and 4 birdies to get us to 1 under. After all the math is calculated, now might I add to this, it was the tea time, it was dinner, and it was unlimited beverage for 3.5 hours. So I'm about 4.5 beers deep. Tom comes to me and he goes, "Steve, I need you." And I go, "What?" And he goes, "We're tied for the lead." I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah." So it was a shotgun start. So everyone's there. He goes, "Guys, we have an announcement. We have a 2-way tie for 1st place in the tournament." And he goes, "Oh, it's team so-and-so at 7 under par and team and me at 1 under." And everyone's like, "Boo, boo." They're all booing. "We're going to have a putt off on the 18th green." So all 8 of us come. Everybody's surrounding this green. The woman Rhonda, who's helping like organize it with my father-in-law, goes, "Tom, who's going to putt for your team?" And Tom turns to me and goes, "Steven's going to putt." I'm like, "Whoa, what?" I'm 4.5 beers deep. I'm not ready to do this. The other team brings up this one guy. I come to find out that A, he's completely sober, and B, he's a scratch fucking golfer. And they hand me a ping putter that looks like it came straight out of the 1970s and a brand new Pro V1 golf ball. And they go, "You have a 20-footer. Closest to the pin wins." He hits his to about maybe 6 inches. I'm like, "All right, well, I gotta now like sit on this and like read this." I'm looking at it. I'm doing aim point. I'm like, I'm trying to fucking like Doctor Strange this
You're
thing.
squaring it up like Scorsese out there.
I'm like holding the putter like this to try and see, all right, where's the angle? I go to the far side. I bend over looking. I come to my side, bend over looking. I'm doing like the Max Homa. Let me like spread the legs out and like drop.
Halo tea bag.
Yeah, the tea bag. I'm doing all this stuff. I missed my putt about 2.5 feet long. And everyone's like, "Oh, he's serious. He's good. He's really good." Yeah, I blew that ball past the hole. I was like, in my defense, if I had a better putter, this would be a little bit easier. I don't know where they found this putter. They literally found this putter in like the back storage room of the place because everyone's bags were all away, so no one was gonna pull their putter out.
That's
so yeah, so
funny.
that was my weekend. But I did get this sick trophy.
Look at that.
I'm a champion.
Trophies last forever.
2nd place. Shout out to the league.
First runner-up.
First loser. I am also hopefully invited to the fall outing, in which case I will try my best to redeem my team and win first.
That's so funny. That's incredible.
I literally blew it past 3 feet past.
Get in the Hole is brought to you by PHI Apparel Company, our incredible merch partners. PHI Apparel Co. provides unique designs and high-quality clothing from t-shirts to hoodies for every golfer around. With their original designs for all, there's no doubt you'll stand out on the course, the driving range, or at the 19th hole. Go to phiapparel.co and use code UNDERGROUND at checkout for 10% off any order. That's code UNDERGROUND at phiapparel.co and grab exclusive Get in the Hole podcast merch and support your favorite golfers.
Hello, everybody. Welcome into Get in the Hole. KB and Steve-O here. Ethan out on vacation, out in the mud. He's enjoying his time wherever he may be. So we'll see Ethan hopefully next week. Welcome into Get in the Hole, the Emmy award-winning show, allegedly, that brings you all the best news, analysis, and betting tips from across the golfing landscape. I know that Emmys are daytime TV, but we're better than Maury Povich, even though it's
Not
one of the
always.
best shows out there. Not always.
If you do, I did find this out. If you do a live, like daily YouTube show and say where you're doing the show from live, like we're live from wherever,
Yeah.
you can be eligible for your local Emmy Award.
Which is exactly why we are live from the Underground on Underground Sports Philadelphia's podcast network, streaming live on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube, wherever you get your favorite shows. You can find us all over the interwebs. Of course, be sure to follow us on all of our socials at Get in the Hole Pod across all social media platforms and Underground Sports PHI on YouTube. Continue to get those subscriber counts jumping. KB, actually, first let me formally introduce you once more. Kyle Bennett, Steve McAvoy here. You can follow us on our socials. Kyle at KBizzle, KBIZZL 31 on Twitter.
311, yep.
311.
Shout out to AOL Instant Messenger for that one.
And then myself, no longer at Real Steve McAvoy. It is at Steven McAvoy with a double underscore on all social medias to try and keep things a little bit more consistent. It is May 19th in the year of our Lord 2025, as the great Nick Costos would go out and say. We got a lot to get to on this packed and jam-packed show. Let's jump right into the good stuff. The PGA Championship this past weekend, Scottie Scheffler with the big win, his third major title. KB, just like everybody else, was like, oh, well, you might as well just throw some money on Scottie Scheffler this week, even though you picked Rory to win.
I did. And he played like absolute shite.
Yeah, he did play like absolute shite. So did most of the field, honestly. And this really brings the whole culmination of my entire point of what I'm going to talk about in a minute. This week at the PGA Championship, although there were a lot of storylines, right? And we'll get to all these in a bit. Of course, Scottie's win back-to-back events. He's the only player since Tiger Woods to have won back-to-back starts by 5 or more strokes. He just dominated the field. All of that with a little bit of luck from a nice tree over on 8. Honestly, if he didn't hit that tree and it didn't bounce back into play, probably wouldn't have gone on such an incredible run to just lap the field and dominate this week at Quail Hollow. But amongst that storyline, Rory McIlroy's non-conforming driver, which we'll talk about in a second, as well as Wyndham Clark almost assaulting a marshal and breaking a wall. I have
a take on that.
And Bryson DeChambeau, who almost cross-checked the shit out of Tony Finau on the 72nd hole, flinging his driver over his head
about that too
as Tony was walking by. And then, of course, as well with the non-conforming driver, Rory missing media availabilities. Not 1 day, not 2 days, not 3 days, all 4 tournament days. But amongst everything this week, I just something about this event did not give major vibes. And I remember, if you remember this, a month ago or a month and a half ago, when we first had Joey Chitwood on the show, and we were talking about the Truist, I said how a one-off event in Philadelphia, a new title sponsor, all these different things, signature event field, everything kind of gave a major vibe without it being a major. Now, of course, it was a signature event, so there was intrigue by it, but it didn't give. It gave a different vibe than what we're used to on the PGA Tour. You don't usually have first-time sites, places you've never been to, outside of majors, which even then, for the most part, the major schedule, you kind of go to the same 7 or 8 places every single year. Like if we look at future major sites for golf, the first of all, how we have dates going all the way out to like 2034 is ridiculous.
It feels like when college is like scheduled to play each other, and it's like, oh,
exactly.
Texas and Hawaii are going to play in Honolulu in 2057.
Yeah. Like for example, right? Future sites for the PGA, we're going to go to Aronimink next year in Newtown Square, Pennsylvania. 27, we're going to go to PGA Frisco. We'll go to the Olympic Club in 28. Played there probably 5 or 6 years ago. Go to Baltusrol, great golf course out in New Jersey. Go to Congressional. There used to be a tournament every year at Congressional. We'll go to Kiowa in 2031. That was the site of Phil's last major win, I believe, in 2021 or 2020. 21, I think. And then Frisco again in 34, right? The U.S. Open a little bit more, not as spread out, but it's the same sort of sites every year. There's Oakmont this year, then Shinnecock, then Pebble Beach, which honestly is not going to feel like a U.S. Open. We'll go to Winged Foot, back to Pinehurst, Marion, Riviera, doesn't really feel like a major. Pebble Beach again, Oakmont, Oakland Hills, Pinehurst, Shinnecock, Pebble. Like we have sites all the way out till 2051 for these Open, but it's the same few courses. Same thing sort of goes for the Open, even though they only announce sites every other year. So, but my whole point is that Quail Hollow didn't feel like it was a major because they go there every single year. I didn't necessarily say the same thing about Torrey Pines when they hosted the U.S. Open 3 years ago when John Rahm won, but I think that might just be because Torrey Pines is Torrey Pines. It's a different kind of golf course. Also, they played it in February and then played it didn't play it that year, but they played it in a very different condition when you typically don't play Torrey Pines. You play it early on in February or March. They played it in June. Quail Hollow, if they didn't play it this year as a major, it would have been played where the Truist is. So it's the same exact week. It's the same golf course, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't think it felt like a major because A, you play there all the time. B, half the field didn't make the cut. Like the strategy going into the week was instantly hit it as hard as you can, hit it as far as you can. The rough isn't incredibly penalizing. You're going to be able to just dominate the golf course if you can hit it far. And yet, half of the top 50 players in the world missed the cut. I think I may have a tweet, actually, that gives good insight into this, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, half of the Four Nations parlay missed the cut.
Yeah, like the majority of players in the top 50 of the world didn't end up making it. And maybe that's why I wasn't intrigued by it. Maybe it was because that Thursday leaderboard with Johnny Vegas on top and maybe like 3 or 4 names that even the casual golfer knows. Maybe that is the reason why I got turned off to it. Maybe it's because I'm in a pool and 4 of my 6 players, that includes Justin Thomas and Patrick Cantlay and Ludwig Oberg, missed the cut.
Mm-hmm.
Or is it the fact that the course wasn't playing that difficult? Was it? I'm trying to pull up my tweet here that I put out. I put out a tweet that said, and I quote, "After covering golf for 4 years, this weekend felt the least like a major. Was it the soft leaderboard after round 1? The top names missed the cut. The value it holds as a major, the format, the fact they play this every single year. I don't really know. It just didn't feel the same." And Sean Zach, actually, of golf.com, may put out a video that I thought was really fascinating. So a little bit of a history lesson on the PGA Championship as a whole. It used to be, way back in the 40s and earlier, it was a match play style event. Now, the U.S. Amateur is the same kind of way. Match play, it was 36 holes of stroke play, followed by 2 days of match play. The event in 1957, they realized, we lost $9,000, so we're going to scrap the whole match play thing, and we're going to go straight to stroke play. At some points, players will play 200 holes of golf over a full week. You'd start on Tuesday or Wednesday, and you would go all the way to Sunday. Sean Zach put out this tweet and said, hey, we should do this. We should do 36 holes of stroke play on Wednesday and Thursday, followed by a cut. Now, that cut, you're going to have a field of 140 guys. PGA, as one of the hardest fields in golf, that isn't always played on the hardest golf courses. And where it differentiates from everywhere else is that when you associate Augusta National and the Masters with the green jacket and springtime, you associate the U.S. Open as open to all. Anybody can play it and it's hosted at some of the hardest golf courses in the country, in the U.S. The Open, it's links golf. It's different. It's not what we're used to. The PGA lacks identity, and it has for a long time. And even though this year It was the strongest field ever in the history of golf. It didn't add up. So Sean Zach saying that the best way to go about this would be to take your 140-man field, 36 holes of stroke play, followed by a cut. You go down to the top 32 players. Anyone who's tied at 32 is a playoff for the final spot. On Friday and Saturday, you cut down from 32 people to 16 people over match play. On Saturday, there's 2 matches. The Sweet 16 cuts down to 4. On Sunday, you have 2 matches, and the final 4 gets determined. 2 matches, and then the final. So you have 3 matches for the day. He said that the PGA Championship should take on a survivor mentality, right? Survive in advance.
Outwit, outplay, outlast. 39 days, 1 survivor.
Exactly. It's the one event that lacks a true identity and lacks a makeup that you look at it and you go, wow, like this is really an incredible event. And the PGA in years past has done a decent job. But Valhalla last year, outside of Scottie Scheffler getting arrested, lacked identity. That was the story of the week. When you go back to Kiowa Island, the identity was a super long golf course. Harding Park, when Colin Morikawa won it, the identity, municipal golf course in San Francisco. And yet they've never gone back to it. There are some courses that make sense, but you need a genetic makeup that makes the event itself interesting. And yeah, guys are going to complain, oh, we don't play match play. We're not used to this kind of format. All right, so what? Get used to it. The whole point of golf is to get challenged and be comfortable with the uncomfortable. If people are going to complain, oh, we don't do stroke play, then why do we care about the Ryder Cup so much?
Mm-hmm.
If we didn't care about if we care so much about the Ryder Cup, we should do more match play. We should do more crazy sort of setups that challenges people to attack pins, right? The Barracuda, I think it is, does like a Stableford format, which means that for every birdie you get a point. For every par you get no points. For every bogey, you get -1 point. But the whole point is that you need to go and attack pins to rack up your points. In golf, you're only playing the par, and if you make a birdie or 2, that's good. The PGA Championship needs more of an identity, and I just don't think I didn't watch a second of the golf at all. And my biggest takeaway from this week was Bennett Scheffler. That's it.
It's my namesake right there.
Well, Scottie Scheffler's son, Bennett, would probably stole the show as a little toddler who every single there was a video after I think Scottie's 3rd round or 4th round was holding his son, put him down on the ground, gave him his notebook and his hat while he was trying to like score his card. Or they had Bennett out on the green while everyone's taking photos and the kid's just sitting there in the grass. Like, or Scottie's holding Bennett and tries to give it to Meredith and then he starts crying and then Scottie's like, all right, I'll take him back. And he's holding him. And then the other part of the major that I thought was actually like noteworthy was the fact that the lid fell off the trophy, which, by the way, why the fuck do they exist? Why do lids exist on trophies? They're just non-consequential. There's no point in them.
You've heard of LIVGolf. Can I interest you in LIVGolf? Yes! Buzzinga.
Kay has the stupid face of like, oh, I just blurted out a laugh.
That's why Kay is my dog.
Kay is the dog. She's great.
Yes.
We're talking about it in my friend's group chat. Saw a text and it was like, hey, honey, remember when I said when we were going to get married, it would never interfere with a Knicks playoff game because we're getting married in May? And it was like, what do you do if your 2-year anniversary falls on a Knicks clinching playoff game? And my friend Jack texts the group chat and he goes, I know half of y'all are getting whipped into dinner. I know Steve knew it was happening. Tells Kay, hey, can we delay our dinner? The Knicks are on. And she would do it. Hashtag Kay's the dog.
Kay is the dog.
She's the dog. But yeah, this week just didn't feel like a major at all.
The only thing to me that made it feel like a major, because genuinely, I honestly forgot that this was the week that Scottie got arrested. Like, that's how much it didn't feel like a major, was that I genuinely forgot that a year ago, Scottie Scheffler was behind bars for 24 hours. The only
3
thing that
hours, actually, just 3.
felt like 24. Free my mans.
I was in
The only
Disney.
thing that made it feel that way was the absolute masterclass run that Nike's promotional
Oh, yeah.
and advertising team is on with all of their athletes, because that graphic they posted is all-time iconic.
Murdered.
And then did you see the Instagram caption?
Yes.
The verdict is in.
The verdict is in.
On.
Honestly, dude, they've been on a generational run. Even when the Knicks won the playoff series, it was Mikal Bridges like pointing down like, this is our house. And the caption, it was a collab between Nike and New York or Nowhere, which is it's like Supreme but for New York.
Mm-hmm.
And the caption was literally, "It will always be New York or Nowhere." And I was like, wow, this is
it even goes back to the Super
Boston.
Bowl. It even goes back to the Super Bowl with like the love hurts and
exactly,
all of that. Like, they have just like, whoever is running Nike's like promotional and advertising department deserves an infinite raise.
Yeah, no, that caught my attention instantly as like, wow, all right, this is legit. And I love how the planning they can they get ahead of it so early on. Some dude 8 months ago, or like literally a year ago, texted their guys at Nike and was like, guys, he got arrested. If he wins the major next year, like, that's golden.
Yes. And I mean, to couple that with the Old Takes Exposed going on of that absolute big dumb dipshit Phil Mickelson, it's incredible.
Well,
the verdict is in,
number
Phil.
one player in the world.
The verdict is in, Phil.
Yeah, well, and it's funny because this segues well into what we were talking about last week or 2 weeks ago when Scottie Scheffler won at the CJ Cup. I called it basically a Mickey Mouse win because Craig Ranch is one of the easiest golf courses that they play on tour, and now Scottie Scheffler has three major wins in his career. He talk about generational run of how good you can be in the game of golf. He's 19 of 20 made cuts in his major since 2020. 14 top 10s, 8 top 5s, 3 wins. He has half the career Grand Slam completed, and he won by 5 strokes in a major. Albeit you can argue a weaker field because, again, half the top 25 missed the cut, half the top 50 missed the cut. But it's undeniable that now, in a clutch moment, because regardless of how you view it, it's still a major. It's still a big title to win. Even though I didn't think it, I'm sure many did. I'm sure I'm in the minority. But he wins the CJ Cup. Now he wins in his back-to-back start. This is turning into exactly what we thought about years ago when we were like, "Oh, can Scottie win every single week?" And now we're hitting a focal point in the year, which might be the new invigorating run of Scottie Scheffler. You know how we used to say that like Scottie couldn't win outside of like April and May? Well, so last year he defied that. He won Memorial and then won the Travelers. But think about the events that we're going to go and play now over the next 5 weeks. We're going to go to play the Charles Schwab this weekend at Colonial. He's plus 250 leading the field. He lives in Dallas. It's a home game. It's just like the CJ Cup. Played it in McKinney, right up the road. Then you go to Memorial. He won here last year. The U.S. Open is at Oakmont. The last time Scottie Scheffler played at Oakmont, he was T2 as an amateur in 2016. For a decent time. He ended up falling off. Again, that was when I was a freshman in college. And then after that, after the U.S. Open, it's the Travelers where he won again in 2024. That's 4 very winnable weeks for Scottie Scheffler. And we could see yet another run of 6 straight wins from Scottie Scheffler. And we probably wouldn't bat an eye. And then we go, oh, yeah, no, Scottie's the best player in the world. And then Rory's going to be over on the side and be like, hello, I'm here too. As if Rory hasn't had a generational run too as of late. I think what's actually really funny is that also with all of this happening, we get the segue of Rory McIlroy's driver is deemed non-conforming by the PGA of America, only to then reveal that Scottie Scheffler's driver was also deemed non-conforming, and Rory finished T47, Scottie won, and Rory refused media for 4 straight days.
Really grinds my gears, Stevie.
Yeah. So let me ask you this: did Scottie unlock old Scottie, which is a stupid statement of me to say, because old Scottie, still young Scottie, and still great Scottie. I mean, hey, he's the 3rd longest tenured #1 player in the world according to the WGR ever. And probably will surpass Greg Norman at some point too.
We need to make the meme of Bugs Bunny dressed like the mobster with the gun in hand and said, "I'm sorry, but it's time for me to go back to the old me," but put Scotty's face over Bugs Bunny's face. Here's my thing. Scottie ain't go nowhere. Scottie was adjusting to new dad life.
Exactly.
We also forget that Scottie is not even 30 years old yet. Like, my dog is a young dad. He's a young DILF out here. Look at him and Meredith. Power couple in the sport. Like, it takes that's a huge adjustment period no matter what you do. And I feel like people just like threw that to the wayside. Like, he's a new dad. He's dealing with a new like life schedule probably. He's also 28, 29 years old, if I'm not mistaken. Like,
yeah,
that's a huge life change no matter how rich, how poor you are, how much of an athlete, how much of a normal human you are. Bringing another life into the world changes your life schedule so much. I don't think it's that Scottie disappeared. It's Scottie was just adjusting to a new chapter of his life.
Yep.
And now he's got it under control. And the boy is back to doing Scottie Scheffler things.
Let's put this into perspective, right? He became a dad shortly after the Masters last year. Right? I think it was actually
Yeah, because there's the whole rumor that he like potentially was going to leave Augusta if Meredith went into labor.
Let me see when exactly Meredith gave birth. Because I want to make sure that I have this right. May 8th. May 8th, Bennett was born. Which means that he didn't play the week prior to the PGA, right? So yes, because the week of the PGA he got arrested, and his son was like 2 weeks old.
Yeah,
which is nuts. That's also just like insane. 25 starts, dating back to last year's Players Championship. 20, if you account for the fact for once he became a new dad. 21, really, no 20. 9 wins, 2 finishes outside of the top 25. That was the BMW last August, and that was the U.S. Open in June. Immediately after Bennett, Scheffler was born. 8th place at the PGA, 2nd at the Schwab. He won the Memorial. 41st at the U.S. Open. He won the Travelers. 7th at the Open overseas. 1 at the Olympics. 4th at the St. Jude. 33rd is only other outside of the top 25 finish over the last 25 starts at the BMW. Won the Tour Championship. And then ever since then, since the turn of the calendar, he's been playing since February. 9th, 25th, 3rd, 11th, 20th, 2nd, 4th, 8th, back-to-back wins. Scottie Scheffler, you're right. He never went anywhere. We just thought, oh, he doesn't have 3 wins yet, and it's May. How is this possible? The guy, even with a new child, has not finished outside of the top 25, but twice in his last 20 starts on tour. And the crazy part is, his strokes gained have only gotten better since Bennett was born. You see guys like Ricky Fowler and Jordan Spieth and and even Max Homa, and they kind of fall off after they have a dad. After they become a dad. Like Jordan hasn't really come back. Ricky hasn't really come back. He had one big win. Max Homa had 17 top 25s, top 15s, I think. Became a dad. It's not there. Scottie's always been family first, golf second. And it's never wavered. But that just shows you how good he is. And honestly, it shows you how good he'd be if it was golf first, family second, which, not to ruffle feathers, it's kind of what Tiger did. Like, Tiger Woods is as good as he is because he put golf over everything else. Scottie's doing what he's doing, and he's still putting the family first.
And you know what's third for Scottie?
Faith?
No.
Football.
Yeah, with Stu Feiner. Because you know what Scottie watches religiously?
Stu Feiner?
The Barstool Sports Advisors.
That's ridiculous.
When he went on Part of My Take, he said his Sunday routine is waking up, watching Barstool Sports Advisors, and then going to church, and then watching football the rest of the day.
That's my guy right there.
I brought an exercise to the table for you today, Steve, and I hope you haven't seen this.
I have not.
So this is from Jamie Kennedy.
Okay.
He's the director of digital content at Golf Digest.
Yes, familiar.
I have 5 golfers for you.
Okay.
I'm going to rattle off the stats. I want you to try to guess which golfers these 5 are.
All right. Are these this year's stats or?
No, it's career stats.
All
right. For reference, the number of majors is all the same in this exercise. It's all 22 majors.
All right.
So player number 1, 22 majors, 3 wins, which is a win percentage of 13.6%. Top 3s, 6, which is a 27.3%.
That's Scottie.
Correct.
All right, yeah.
Top 10s are 13, top 25, 17. The next player, same thing, 22 majors, 5 wins, 7 top 3s, 11 top 10s, 16 top 25s.
That's Rory?
Incorrect.
5 majors. What, does Brooks have 6? Is that Brooks?
Incorrect.
Fuck. Who's 5 major wins? That's not Jordan. There's very few guys actively who have 5 wins in majors. Is Jordan Spieth? No.
No, it's not.
I was gonna say no. Hold on. I need to just get a reference of major champion winners all time and see where I'm at list wise.
You brought him up recently on this.
I brought him up recently,
like 5 minutes ago.
5 minutes ago. It's 5 wins. 5 wins is what you said.
Mm-hmm.
Not Phil.
No, but you're warmer.
It's not Tiger.
It's Tiger Woods.
Oh, in his last...
In 22 majors,
22?
5 wins.
All right, I'm thinking of this wrong. Okay, all right, it's Tiger. All right.
Player number 3. Same thing. 22 majors. This is the first 22 major starts.
First 20. All right.
First 22.
This helps a lot. All right.
Next player. In the first 22. 2 wins, 5 top 3s, 8 top 10s, 12 top 25s.
That's Rory.
Correct. Player number 4 in their first 22 majors, 3 wins.
That's Jordan.
Correct. 7 top 3s, 8 top 10s, 12 top 25s.
I was waiting for that one because that was like we're talking dudes who like have the Grand Slam and don't got it. Yeah, all right.
And then the final player, first 22 majors, 0 wins, 4 top 3s, 8 top 10s, 15 top 25s.
Is that Phil?
No.
0 wins.
Player is actively on the PGA Tour.
Didn't win for a while. How many majors does he have right now actively? If you happen to
Let
know.
me check real quick for you. Two.
He has 2 actively. Colin Morikawa.
No, but you're warm.
And he's active on tour. JT.
No.
Okay. His first 22. I
I
mean,
have
Xander
one
didn't
more.
win. Xander didn't win for a while, but it's Xander.
It's Xander.
Okay. Yeah, no, like that just shows you how absurd the numbers are. And Scotty's only really getting started too when you really kind of break it down. And he started later than Tiger, but he already he's got to have at least 18 wins on the PGA Tour at this point in his career. Like, yeah, Scotty's got, he has 20 wins. This is his 20th win on tour. So he's already in the lifetime achievement class for players, like right there off the bat for professional wins all time. That's a saying, sorry, he has 15 tour wins. He has 20 professional wins. Like, not many guys can say they have even 15 career wins.
It's wild.
Like, looking at the number of wins for a player in their career, right? The top 50, the 50th ranked guy in the field, starts at 17 based on Wikipedia. But like, Rory is 29, and Rory's been active for 16 years. Scotty's got 15, and he's been active for 4 on tour. 5. This now he's going into. That's insane. Like, he truly is putting up just like insane, absurd numbers for somebody who really has only scratched the surface of his golf career, because he's won the same sort of events over and over and over again. But those are the events that you want to win every single year. You want to win at Memorial. You want to win the Players twice. You want to win the Masters twice. You want to win all the majors. You want to win at Bay Hill and all these different places at Riviera. That's just what Scotty does, and it's crazy. On the flip side, though, I do want to get into this, right? So Rory, I know you're gonna you have a point that you want to mention with the Wyndham Clark playing a club, and I'll let you get to that. But I think the Rory thing is really interesting. So for those of you who don't follow golf religiously, non-conforming basically means that the driver or any sort of club doesn't meet the specifications of the USGA does all the testing, but the PGA can tell you that your club is not conforming. Now, typically, a club that's non-conforming does not necessarily mean that you're cheating. That could be you use a driver for 4 or 5 years and the wear on it gets so heavy, like one golf shot you hit might be conforming, the next shot might not be. And they only test about a quarter of the field every single week to say, hey, are you conforming or are you not? It just so happened that the testing included Scotty and Rory this week, and both of their drivers were deemed non-conforming, although they weren't cheating. So I don't want to hear people saying, oh, like Rory's Masters gets the asterisk because he used that driver to win. No, it was conforming then. It wasn't conforming at the day of the PGA. This could have happened 2 weeks ago. It could have happened last week. It could have happened yesterday when he was on the range on Wednesday, showed up on Thursday, and they were like, no, this ain't going to cut it. So I think that it's all blown out of the water. What I don't like is the fact that he refused to talk to the media for 4 straight days. Now, Jason Sobel put out a really, really good tweet that I resonated heavily with. He said, and I quote, let me pull it up. He said, and I quote, last year at Pebble Beach, following his pre-tournament press conference, he stood with a group of reporters, he being Rory, for some 45 minutes and spoke about the need for PGA Tour players to be more accessible. He recently been to an F1 race and saw how many interviews the drivers give, both directly before and after races. There was some clarity, he told us. The golfers should hold themselves to similar standards, especially the superstars. Personally, I've never been one to get annoyed if a player decided not to speak with us after a round. I don't need to hear from every single player every single day. If Rory chooses to take a day or two off when he plays poorly, that should be his prerogative. Tiger also did that, though infrequently. But Tiger never went 4 tournament days without speaking afterwards. He knew that it was his responsibility as a face of the game, and Rory knows that too. In fact, he said it himself. It's insane to me that the face of the sport for the last decade. I get it. Scottie's great. Rory is the greatest post-Tiger era player ever. To take an entire week off, essentially 4 straight days, and avoid the media outright, I think is ludicrous. From the face of the game, who usually has a shit ton of things to say. And a lot of this is because your driver was deemed non-conforming. Was it really that? Is there something else that you're trying to hide, no one to talk about? That you're afraid someone will bring up?
I have a thought on it. It's the whole premise that this was built up as this was the Rory McIlroy course. This was his tournament. He dominates it. And the rain changed the dynamic of things on day one. He played like absolute shit, and he didn't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
He threw a temper tantrum over Mother Nature. And
meanwhile,
I've been critical of Rory. I like Rory, but like that was some baby back bullshit. Like, dude, you're throwing a hissy fit because the rain fucked up a couple of your shots. Can you be mad? Yes. Can you be frustrated with your game, with yourself, with the course, with the conditions? Sure. But to not speak at the corresponding major after you just completed the career Grand Slam at the previous major, when you have probably the largest fan base of active golfers right now, it's weak sauce. And I was disappointed in Rory McIlroy this week.
Yeah, I think it's asinine that and again, look, I'm totally cool with 1 or 2 days. You don't want to talk about it.
Sure.
After day one, the whole field was pissed off about the whole play your ball as it lies, not preferred lies, mud balls galore, and everyone hated it. And more than have a right to complain about the PGA of America not doing preferred lies. That's great. If Rory doesn't want to talk about it, maybe he's like, all right, whatever. It's old news. I don't want to get badgered by the same question. Fine. Day 2, non-conforming driver. All right, you know what? Hopefully this passes after a day and we can move on. But it just kept on persisting. And I don't understand why at some point just face the music. Because guess what? I got news for you, buddy. You're not playing this week at Colonial. When you go to play Memorial and you go into your interview room for your post-round presser on Wednesday or Tuesday, the first question out of some dude at Golf Channel or SI or Golf Digest's mouth, the very same way when we were at the Truist and he hadn't played since the Masters and everyone's asking him questions from the Masters, what do you think about the non-conforming driver?
He literally made it worse for himself. Like,
he didn't fix the music eventually.
Like, he didn't even have, like, if he would have just spoke on Saturday.
Yeah.
Like, just speak on Saturday, one day. Like, that's all he had to do, and nobody would give a flying fuck.
And the best part is, too, the best part is, right? And this is just tacking on shit to the fire. You could have you could have, and I'm telling you right now, he's going to face the music in 2 weeks at Memorial when everyone's there and it's a full media room from everyone across the country. You could have done it for the 5 minutes on Friday or Saturday when it was 9 guys at the flash area. No. You're going to walk into the conference room with every member of the media, from photographers to writers to fucking content creators and alike. And they're going to be asking you the same questions that you would have been asked by 9 guys. And you know what? It's going to be 2 weeks after the fact, and you're probably going to throw a hissy fit once again Because, guys, it's been 2 weeks. I don't want to talk about this.
Mm-hmm.
And
He
everyone's
made
gonna
it
go,
worse for himself. The entire...
and then everyone's going to go, all right, what are you hiding? Were you cheating? I'm not going to say he was.
Yeah, I'm
But-
not going to
But
speculate there, but he's literally, by not
but
talking, made the
you
whole
not
situation
saying
worse.
anything is holding us to the idea that maybe something's up.
Yeah.
And why aren't you talking about it? And yes, again, I've already talked about non-conforming can mean a lot of different things. Honestly, probably if you cheated, they probably would have sanctioned them and put money out, but they don't have to reveal the dollar amounts that they're fining guys. Which also,
Right.
I think all fines should be public knowledge. That's just me. Like Wyndham Clark is easily getting a fine for throwing a golf club and
He should.
almost bashing the leg of a fucking volunteer. But we're never going to know what the PGA Tour is going to fine him for that. I just think Rory backed himself into a hole that he's going to have to now get out of in 2 weeks. And we're going to revisit this. And we're going to talk about it again. And we're going to clip this video. And we're going to have something from the from the annals that's going to say, hey, you know what? We knew this was going to happen, dude. You screwed yourself.
Mm-hmm.
What do you want to say in response to Wyndham Clark almost killing somebody?
All right, so here's my thing. I saw the video and I was like, okay, this is wildly like out of pocket. He should not have done that. And then I see the POV of the volunteer working that hole. Now, this might sound crazy, and I know Wyndham Clark has since put out a statement apologizing, whatever. It'll never happen because they're independent contractors.
Yeah.
But genuinely in my heart, Wyndham Clark should be suspended for an event. Like, that is so wildly dangerous to just willy-nilly throw your club with that much force when there are people in that line of sight.
Yeah.
That is so dangerous. It's so, like, irresponsible. And I get you're frustrated. We saw Keegan Bradley at the Truist slam his club into the
ground.
Under the ground at the tee box on 15. I don't really have an issue with that. He's kind of got it under control to a degree. Still not ideally great, and I'm sure he doesn't think it was great either. Yeah. But for Wyndham Clark to just go Hulk mode and just launch that thing like he was like tossing a shot putt is so irresponsible. It is wildly out of pocket behavior. There's no need for that. Yeah. I can get you're frustrated. Your shot didn't go your way. You're angry at yourself for not hitting it the way you wanted to. Totally fine. That reaction he had was so over the top, so ridiculous. And I'm not saying I lost respect for Wyndham Clark, but I was like, dude, you're a grown-ass man. Like, you're playing a game for your career. You get to play a sport for your career. And you're throwing your golf club like it's fucking Mjolnir. Like, get a grip, dude. I was embarrassed for him because that is just so wild. Like, I know, you don't want to live your life in what ifs, but imagine if that goes a little bit further, if that hits that volunteer.
Yeah.
Like, you have to be so much more present in what you are doing. And, like, to think that that's not going to get caught on one of the 9 gajillion cameras that the PGA Championship had this weekend it's just so irresponsible. I was flabbergasted at the damage that it caused, and I was disgusted, honestly. And, like, that might sound super, like, over the top, but no, like, it's not like it's a rubber golf club. That thing can hurt somebody.
Yeah.
That is a weapon when you use it like that.
not for nothing, right? And for those who don't necessarily golf with these sort of clubs, like the new era of golf club, granted, like they're not the steel that everyone's used to that like was really heavy, but like carbon fiber, when those things splinter, there's a reason why it's a literal hazard in the NHL to even touch a broken stick, because those things are tough. Like those things are sharp. And also the worst part of all this too, the head came off the driver. Now we're talking projectiles. That thing travels. Sage Steele put a tweet out. John Rahm hit somebody with a golf ball. Now, like inadvertent, naturally, what are you gonna do? But Sage Steele put a tweet out. She's like, "Oh, my heart goes out for the fan who got hurt. This is like, why is it that every PGA Championship, John Rahm hit somebody with a ball? She got hit with a ball at the PGA a few years ago. It cost her 8 teeth and 3 root canals. Like, holy shit!" Now, granted, that's a golf ball traveling at a absurd speed. But even the same thing with like baseball, right? You hit a baseball, that exit velo is like 120 miles an hour, let's just say. That golf club is flying 100 miles an hour to a wall, and it cracks through the wall clean. That's crazy. And like guys fling clubs, guys break clubs, whatever. Guys throw clubs into water. At the very least, when they throw it, they're in the middle of the fairway and there's no one around them. This was legitimately, and if you go to an event, you see it. You're 10 feet tops from a pro on the tee box, and anything is possible. I think what he did was absolutely ridiculous, and I agree with you. He should be suspended for his next committed start, or he should be suspended from an event that he'd be sanctioned to play in anyways. Because you could very well just be like, "Oh no, I'm not going to play this event and serve my suspension, even though I never plan on playing it anyways."
I mean, quite frankly, like he did it in a
out.
major, he should be suspended for the next major. That's just me.
Or alternatively suspended for the next PGA, because that's their jurisdiction. That's their jurisdiction, because every single organization has their own has their own major. So it's like, but
and like, to a lesser degree than what happened there with Wyndham Clark, like Bryson's also got to be more cognizant of his surroundings. Like, these dudes, like it blows my mind, like how just like airheaded they are sometimes.
I mean, like,
what is around them? Like, you are outside. Like, I get, like, typically you have space, but like, use your eyeballs a little bit.
I mean, like, granted, could Tony Finau have not walked so close to Bryson? Yeah, but like situationally, still, like, I get it. You're frustrated. There's no reason. It's like a high stick in hockey. You shouldn't have to pick your golf club higher than your head.
There's no need for it.
No, there's just simply not. And it ruins the moment for everybody if someone gets hurt, and now all of a sudden we have medicals and things are happening, and
especially with Wyndham Clark and what could have happened to a civilian that was volunteering their time, their energy to be there for you,
to only get almost assaulted. That's ridiculous.
Like, be in the line of fire of a deadly weapon. Because as soon as he released that club from his hands, that is a weapon.
Yeah. It's not pretty at all. But I digress. We're going to take a short break. On the other side, we're going to get you our shout out to the week and our beer money picks for the Charles Schwab Challenge down in Dallas, Texas. We'll be right back here, KB and Steve from the Underground. Don't go anywhere, folks.
Subscribe to get in the whole pod.
Welcome back into the Underground here on Get in the Hole. KB and Steve-O with Ethan out on vacation. We're going to jump right into our shout out to the week, presented by Acorn Hills, our favorite merch partners who are changing clothing through conservation by offering eco-friendly packaging, materials, and clothing tags on styles that you will love. Get ready for the summer drop coming on June 2nd and use code GITH15. That's Get in the Hole 15 for 15% off your next order at acornhillsco.com. Again, code GITH15 for 15% off your next order at acornhillsco.com, and look your best from the ground up. We start out with Harris English. Now, first of all, I didn't realize how tall this man was when I saw him in Philadelphia. This guy's a freaking giant. Also a DAWG's alum with Steph Straka. Go Dogs. But huge payday for Harris English, man. Let me tell you. He came in the Sunday, tied for 36th on the leaderboard. He climbed all the way up, a 6 under 65, to get down to tied for second. Granted, no one was going to catch Scottie, but that run, that 6 under day, jumped him almost $1.34 million in payout. So shout out to Harris English for the big payday and the big win on his end. He's been really good as of late. He's played some really inspiring golf. He had an injury, I think 2 or 3 years ago, about the same time as Dan Berger. I think it was his back injury shortly after the Tour Championship, I think in 2022. And really was a struggle to get back. He was playing fall events just to kind of get his feet under him. He had a medical exemption, so he still has his tour card. But it's a make or break year for Harris English. He needs to get back on the horse in order to get and maintain his tour card. He's been doing a pretty damn good job so far this year. Want to give a shout out to Bryson DeChambeau. This is a long time coming for Bryson. Now, first of all, I want to give a minor shout out just to the LIV players as a whole, because for the second major in a row, we have finally gotten over the idea, hopefully, that LIV is not a competition when it comes to majors or when they are placed in a field with PGA Tour players. Bryson, John Rahm, and Joaquin Niemann all finished top 10 this week. So shouts to LIVGolf for getting over the hump and finally making some competition for the PGA Tour. But with that being said, he finished T2 this week. It earned him his 5th top 6 finish in his last 6 majors. That, of course, includes his U.S. Open victory at Pinehurst. Awesome stuff from Bryson DeChambeau. Continues to wow us. And how you cannot take this man in pools, in any sort of betting market for a top 10 in majors. It almost seems like it's automatic, and LIVGolf is not causing the problem. Oh. KB went dark. KB went 0 dark 30 on us. Hopefully he will be back. I want to give another shout out to Patrick Reed, probably the social media clip of the week. The 4 aces threw out on social media the video of him going to Starbucks. The strawberry acai refresher, no water, no inclusions. Shout out to the P. Reed special. However, I will say this, opt to the lemonade, the strawberry acai lemonade, light ice, no berries, golden every single time. Also do want to give a shout out to Quail Hollow. All things considered, I'll say this. While Quail Hollow, in my opinion, wasn't necessarily the greatest major site, it did at the very least give us the kind of challenging event that you want to see in a major. Like I had said, over half the field missed the cut. Some of the top 50 best players in the world. JT, Patrick Cantlay, Hideki Matsuyama, Shane Lowry, Sepp Straka, Ludwig Oberg, Jordan Spieth, Sungjae Im, Jason Day, Will Zalatoris, Nick Taylor, Andrew Novak, Brooks Koepka, Russell Henley, and Akshay Bhatia all missed the cut this week. That just shows you how challenging the golf course was. And a lot of it was because of that rain, right? It's been back-to-back weeks at the truest. Everyone was like, oh, they're going to shoot the lights out of this place. The rain comes in, golf course changes a lot over time. That rain on Monday and Tuesday and even Wednesday at Quail Hollow caused a lot of problems for a lot of guys and really drove down distances. It made distance that much more important because the ball was sitting up in those soft conditions. So Quail Hollow did provide some challenges this week, despite it maybe not feeling like a major the way that I usually associate with them. Our birthday shout out of the week. I want to give a big shout to Jerome Travers, nicknamed Jerry Travers. 120 years ago in 1905 at the Fox Hills Golf Club in Staten Island, Jerome Travers finished second in a 4-ball tournament at the age of 18. From that day forward, Jerry would be known as one of the first and greatest match play and amateur golfers in the USA. He won 5 U.S. amateurs in 1907, 08, 1912, and 1913, along with 3 New Jersey, 5 Metropolitan in New York, and amateur championships, and the 1915 U.S. Open at Baltusrol. He was posthumously inducted into the World Golf Hall of Fame in 1976, joining some of the greatest names in the origins of golf, including Tommy Armour, Old Tom Morris, and James Braid. Travers would have been 138 years old today on May 19th. So happy birthday to Jerome Travers and his family and KB's internet just crapped out. So shout out to them on a very special birthday for Jerome Travers. As we hopefully get a hold of KB at some point soon, we're going to jump right in to our beer money picks of the week presented by Kenwood Beer. Be sure to go check out kenwoodbeer.com and see where you can get your hands on some ice cold refreshing Kenwood beer from your favorite liquor stores in Maryland, New Jersey, Delaware, and beyond, and of course in Pennsylvania. 21 years or older to consume, and if you're betting with us, please gamble responsibly as well. Only 100 calories and 8 grams of carbs. It might just be the best light beer that you've ever had. Again, kenwoodbeer.com. Use the Candy Tracker and see where you can get your hands on some awesome Kenwood beer. We start with our top 20 pick of the week, and I gotta say, the field this week at Colonial is a lot better than some will actually make it out to be. Scheffler leads the odds. He's 2.5 to 1 at that plus 250 number. Followed by Jordan Spieth at 22 to 1. Hideki Matsuyama 25 with Daniel Berger and Tommy Fleetwood. Matt McNeely, JT Poston, and Rob McIntyre round out the top 10 on the board. There's a lot of different ways to go about this week, and I am going to go for a top 20. One of the things that comes into play when you're playing in Dallas, and just Texas in general, the Texans always really overperform, and they always play to their maximum capability. So I'm really intrigued by the guys who are from the South, particularly guys who play in Texas and are from the Texas area. My top 20 pick this week, I'm going to go with, while he's not from Texas, he does have some good experience in playing golf courses that are down here. He won the Valero out in San Antonio. He's had really good finishes at Craig Ranch and here in the past. I'm going to go, while he doesn't have good experience on this golf course, Akshay Bhatia at plus 220 this week. He has a 56th place finish and a missed cut over his first 2 times at this event. I still do think, though, that this is an event that he could thrive in. And with conditions and the way he's played in the past, I don't see a situation where he fumbles. KB, welcome back into the show.
Yeah, I'm on my laptop right now, so everyone listening, if it sounds like crap, my entire internet just died. I have my modem over here. The button went from perfectly white, light blue to red, and everything is off the internet.
That's insane. I
have no clue what's going on.
Well, hopefully you've done your research. We're on our top 20 picks here for our beer money plays. By the way, I want to give you a shout out. I ate crap this week at the PGA, and you killed it. You had 3 correct picks, including your make the cut, miss the cut parlay.
Let's go.
So good on you for locking that one down. You lead me by 1 in our beer money picks. I just took Akshay Bhatia for a top 20. I'm curious what you're thinking this week.
I'm going to go with future friend of the program, Daniel Berger, plus 120.
Is he actually plus 120?
As far as I can see, we're Charles Schwab, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, plus 120 for a top 20.
Is that good for a top 20? Oh, my God. You know what's incredible? The fact that, wow, he's 120. It's insane how everyone on this leaderboard is so far. We can literally just go with the top names and probably make some really damn good money and just not bet Scottie Scheffler this week. like I was saying, Scottie's 2.5 to 1, Spieth's 22 to 1, 25 to 1, like just some obscene numbers. So I like your play there with Berger. He did win here back in 2021. Has had a rough go of things. I will say this at this golf course, but a lot of that has just come from injuries and just challenges in his game as of late. Top 10 pick this week. Where am I going to go with this one? Let's see. Not a lot of consistency when it comes to guys who play well at this golf course, unfortunately. And really, that's the problem that I'm running into as we look at who to take this week. My top 10, you know what? I'm just going to do it because it's actually really easy to go this route. I'm taking Jordan Spieth for a top 10, and the fact that I can get him at plus 220 to top 10 is just ridiculous.
I'm gonna follow you in a plus 220 play, but I'm going with hashtag my guy, Tommy Fleetwood.
I love that. Top 5 for me. Let's see. Literally, when you look at the charting for like who plays this golf course well, there's only 2 names that pop up that have multiple top 5s or top 3s, really even top 10s in the last 2 years are Spieth and Scheffler. Actually, I do have a name that I am intrigued by, but I'm not going to take him just yet. Top 5, I'm going to go Brian Harman. Crazy odds, plus 850 for Brian Harman for a top 5. Who you like?
Top 5. You know what? He played pretty well this past week. I don't know why he's speaking to me, but top 5, including ties, plus 700, JT Poston.
I do love JT Poston. Great play. I love it. My gimme pick this week, I'm going to go for a long shot. We're going to go top 40 finish all the way down the odds board. And when I say all the way down the odds board, I mean like all the way down it. I got to find where this man is. He exclusively plays well on golf courses like this, and it's exactly why I am going to ride with plus 1,000 Ryan Palmer, a top 40.
It's not a gimme there, but I like it.
Here's the thing. The reason why I'm calling it a gimme, and it's a long shot gimme. In the history of this golf course, right, he's missed the cut a lot of times, but he does have 3 or 4 career top 40s in 8 events played here. He finished 3rd all the way back in 2016. He followed that up with a 6th place finish in 2018. He's missed the cut each of the last 2 years, but he's a Texas guy. He always manages to play well on this golf course for the most part. I'll go Ryan Palmer, top 40.
My gimme is also top 40 plus 105 Ricky Fowler.
All right. We move on. Sorry, we didn't even show the gimme label. The ladder parlay pick of the week. I'm going a straight up T40 parlay. And this is going to be my Super Bowl this week. I'm going to place $2 on it, and I'm just going to let it sit and fester. I'm going Charlie Hoffman for a top 40, and I'm going to conjoin him with, holy shit, Michael Block is in the field this week. Guess what I'm not betting on? Hello. So we're going to go top 40 for, where is he? Top 40 for Charlie Hoffman. That's plus 120. We're also going to go with we're going to go with Emiliano Grillo, who is plus 110.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to play my I'm going to go back to the well on it, and I'm going to take that Ryan Palmer play, and those odds are 54-1. So a $5 bet will net you $277.
That's crazy.
And you know what? If you want a little extra juice and you want to get really exciting with this one, not for any particular reason, and it's going to make it a risk. I will tell you that straight up. But he has had great experiences on this golf course, and he has finished top 40 here multiple times. You can get really good value plus 280 on Kevin Kisner to add to that, and your odds boost all the way to a $5 bet to win you $1,000.
I'm building the Four Nations parlay right now.
The KB weekly Four
One
Nations
of these
play.
weeks, it's gonna hit everyone. I promise you.
I'm gonna take a couple of random cracks here. I'm gonna take Fleetwood for top Englishman.
He's top UK Ireland this week, but yes, he's plus 240. Hideki top Japanese minus 140.
Okay.
Mackenzie Hughes top Canadian at plus 100. And I am going to
Scottie Scheffler top American.
We might have to be Five Nations this week then. Eric Van Rooyen top African at plus 220. And let's see, because there's multiple ways you can take Scottie, actually. Let's see which one looks best.
I have a crazy recommendation if you want to get a little bit more juicy. Maybe not take Fleetwood and go with Bobby Mack.
So with Fleetwood, Hideki, Mackenzie Hughes, Van Rooyen, and then Scottie Scheffler, as you can either take him as top USA or top North American.
Either way.
Which nullifies Mackenzie Hughes because Canada is that. So I would go top American at plus 210. That gives you odds of plus 11,463. $1 to win $115.63.
That's pretty hot. I like that. Well, what's the odds if you replace Fleetwood with Bobby Mack?
Let me check for you. That makes it plus 16,905. $1 to win $170.05.
That could be a play for me there. Also, I'm officially going to end up updating my top 40. I'm going to go Hoffman, Griot, Palmer, and I'm going to go Gary Woodland as well. In that batch.
In my ever so kind fashion, reminder, check the winner without. Right now, it's just winner without Scottie. But check that on Saturday night going into Sunday.
I dig.
That's
your winner of Colonial. I will take the lead, and I will be happy to be the one guy who is going to go out and say this. I'm probably going to take Scottie.
Yeah, I'm taking Scottie plus 250. You're giving me plus money? Hell yeah.
If I'm going to give you a legitimate, like decent middle of the road play that's going to make you some good money, I would personally play some goodies on Siwoo Kim, Aaron Rai, and Dan Berger. Those would be my.
Yeah, I also like
three.
Dan Berger plus 2,500.
But I think it's ridiculous to not take Scottie, and I'll probably end up live betting him. He's played here 5 times in his career, finished 55th when he was a rookie. He missed the cut in 21, and then he went 2-3-2.
Mm-hmm.
Can't be much better of a track record, and when everybody else in the field is just not really there, I don't know, man. How can you not?
He's a dog.
He really is a dog. That's going to do it for us here. Episode 205 of the Get in the Hole podcast. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. Be sure to like, subscribe, and follow on all of our social media channels at Get in the Hole Pod on all of our podcast networks, Apple Podcast, Spotify, wherever you get your favorite shows.
Check
Underground
out
Sports
the
PHI
channel too.
Yes.
The new channels feature is available, which allows you to peruse all of our shows. If you're an Apple Podcast user, it shows you every show under Underground Sports Philadelphia. It shows you top episodes and top shows. So it lets you get immersed into our universe that much easier. So if you're an Apple Podcast user, definitely check out the channels tab in the app and follow along. You can favorite the Underground Sports Philadelphia channel.
Hell yeah.
And we'll keep you up to date with every show that gets added to that channel ever.
And be sure to leave some 5-star ratings. Those really do help with the engagement. Leave comments. Tell us what you want to see on our upcoming episodes. If you have not tuned in yet, last week's episode featured an exclusive interview with New York Bluebirds captain Abe Candelaria. Great interview. Awesome guy. got to chat with him about Grass League and what they're looking to do. KB got a little bit of word. He couldn't disclose to me immediately, but there is allegedly hints at expansion. And when I asked him Philadelphia, he kind of gave me a smirk.
Grass League put a tweet out this week and said, "Where should we go?" And I tweeted the ever so iconic "How I Met Your Mother, we're going to Philly" gif. And they liked it.
Things might be cooking.
Are we influencers?
Dude, if we could be influencers for the Philadelphia Grass League team, I'd fucking die. That'd be incredible.
The world is asking if we have influenced the Grass League to come to Philadelphia.
We very well might have.
Sources are saying.
Oh, man. Sources say a lot of things. Hopefully it happens. Before we go, also want to give a shout out to all of our awesome partners, Kenwood Beer, Acorn Hills, Devereux 47, Paramount Plus. You're all the best. Thank you guys so much for continuing to make this show that much greater every single week. For Kyle Bennett, I'm Steve McAvoy. We'll see you guys next week. Enjoy Colonial, and we'll get back at it. Hopefully, KB's Wi-Fi will not shit the bed, and we'll be able to get you a pretty solid episode once again from Get in the Hole here from the Underground. Thanks for listening to Get in the Hole, the official golf podcast of Underground Sports Philadelphia. Catch us every week wherever you get your favorite podcasts, and be sure to like and subscribe on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Get in the Hole Pod, and follow Underground Sports Philadelphia at Underground PHI. We'll see you next time. And remember, get in the hole!